Hey, welcome back again. Well, we got another big pain in the butt. Let me show you. So this is a Kia 3.5. It looks like it's been taken out to the woodshed a few too many times. Just like a minivan. I think it's a Sedona. Anyway, what we're dealing with, let's see if I can show you. Get this drop light out of our face. Down inside the engine, way down in there. That's an oil sending unit down in there, way down in there. And that thing's leaking. And of course you got to take everything off to get to it. I was looking for a way to cheat. I was thinking maybe there's a way to get down in here with an extension or something, but you can't even hardly unplug the thing either. So I think that intake's got to come off of there, and we've got to sneak a wrench down in, probably down in this little spot here. Let me get this mirror down here and I'll show you another bit of a fight. Right back there. Hopefully you can see what I'm looking at. There's another one of those bolts holding that bracket on. There's your bracket coming up right there. And I tried to feel around the back to see if there was another one back there, but I only feel the one bracket. So if I move the mirror, you can kind of see how it. See, it's that one lonely little bolt right there. I got to get that loose so that the intake manifold, the plenum anyway, will come up. Well, you know, these things aren't going away. These designs, they just aren't really going to be gone anytime soon. We're always going to have this plastic stuff, so we got to get used to it. Got to get used to the fly-by-wire. There's your intake or your throttle control. You can see this one, it doesn't really have that many miles on it, but it definitely is dirty in there. Look at that. It's nasty. So it's probably had, well, yeah, you can see it has had some dirty air going into it. Sorry about the camera banging around here. I got flashlight between the camera and fingers. Look at this. Let's see if you can see this. Let me see. Maybe it's better that way. See, that indicates that there's dust and dirt getting past the air filter. There's your air filter inside there. Anytime you can see this is the clean side of your air intake. So anytime you can see dust and dirt like that, that means that this stuff is getting in your engine. And that's where this charcoal black stuff right here on the edge, you know, it'll eventually wipe out an engine. So, well, let's just take a quick look at it and see if this thing, and that thing, you always want to dump it upside down. And look at all the dirt and dust inside there. Yeah, air filter's pretty clean this go around. And it could be previous filter. And my flashlight just died. Of course it would. That's a Coast Industries with, see, I put that step ladder tape on there so it wouldn't be falling out of my hand all the time, but yeah, it'll come back for a minute or two and then out the door she goes. You can see all the oil that's gathered up inside there, and it's all down in the intake valve, or the V part of the engine there, so that's going to be fun. Let me see if I can't get this thing apart here, maybe bring it back, see what I've come up with. Using the old DeWalt here. I will say it is definitely handy to have something like this for this very reason. And then see, I put a little hose, jammed it down in the inside of that. This thing does come with a crevice tool. I'm gonna bang it out of there, I think, but there it goes. That'll work too. I just use the rubber hose because that tip, you know, is kind of pliable. You can get it kind of jammed into places without breaking the end of that vacuum cleaner. So that helps. And there's your intake plenum, which is kind of a pain to get off. There was a bracket right here that's held on by these big bolts here. So now we're going to be pulling the intake off, so we'll see how that goes, and we'll get back here in a second. Alright, so that kind of gives you an idea. This is our culprit right here. Look how deep that thing is. Holy cow. Almost need that vacuum cleaner again. Now this thing here, what is this thing anyway? It's a top sider. So what I'll do is I'll stick this thing down inside here. A little bit of room. Put it down in. Holy cow, that thing's probably a couple inches deep down in there. And then just suck it right on out of there. You can actually do oil changes, but you have to have the engine fairly warmed up so that stuff will flow through. There's another adapter hose that goes in the end of that that's even smaller. It goes down inside these little dipstick tubes, and you can a lot of times get it and it'll fall right down to the bottom of the pan. Alright, well, I'm trying to get some of that stuff to clean up, but I'm empty. So I'm looking for my other funnel. We got AutoZone here is going to provide a funnel for us today. Amount. Now, back up a little bit, and now go in here and spray down in here and get all this stuff kind of cleaning. Don't get it down in the intake if you can help it. And then this thing. It runs out of vacuum. We gotta stick it in every port. Let's see here. Alright, so one thing too about this hose and stuff is pretty nice, you know, for this. One of the things that you can do is you can actually hook a blowgun to this thing, and you know, then it sucks it right on out. You just suck it and you push the button. But the problem I get with blowguns is that not all blowguns are created equal. Some blowguns, you put a vacuum across the actual gun itself and it'll leak. You can put pressure up against it and it won't leak a drop, but you put a little vacuum on it and it sucks the O-ring open. So they don't always work. And like this one here, the only way you can see how it's kind of bottomed up against there. The only way that it actually pops up like that is if it's got pressure in it. So you have to have like a vacuum blowgun or something like that. But for all intent and purpose, that's how you're going to suck that oil out of there. You got to get it out. You can't leave it in there. There's just no way to do that and have a successful repair. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to just change that little sensor there. And that's going to be a trick in itself. So we'll see how good we go, and I'll try to bring you along with that. Alright, so there's its sensor. So what I've done, this is the new one here. And you can see that's 24 millimeter, but also 15/16 here. And it fits just about as tight. I'll show you this too. On that little old nut down inside the manifold valley down in here. So somebody's been in there, lost a nut for it. Get that in there and just kind of work it a little bit. Yeah, that thing was full of oil. It's definitely a goner. All full of oil and stuff in there, so there's your problem, lady. And it is a lady that owns this. Isn't that ironic? We're always imitating Eric O. Anyway, put that in there and let's see if you can. You gotta hold your butt cheeks just right. You gotta squint. And you gotta bite the corner of your tongue, not the right corner, but the left corner. Alright. Now I can work it in there with the wrench. That's just from dripping from that oil cinder. And this is it here. And you know, I noticed when I plugged the plug in, and once I took it out and I plugged the plug in, as soon as I clicked the plug in, it squirted oil out the end, so I knew it was a dead unit. Matter of fact, I bet if I put a little bit of air in this thing, let's see, you probably can't see that. I'll put it in the back here, just barely. I'll just put just a little bit. See that? Yep, so that thing was definitely belching it all over the place. Well, that was another project done. Looks like we're good to go. I actually did a couple of other things too. I'll show you this. There's a brake rotor. It definitely needed something. Brake pads. They were long gone. So, anyway, that looks like that's going to be it for the little car. And it need a little bit more work. It'll get probably rear brakes and a few other things. So I'm going to give you a thumbs up And thank you for watching. We'll talk to you next time.